Je me suis trouvé à l'âge de 40 ans en vadrouille à travers l'Afrique, au Congo du temps de Lumumba. 40 ans, j'avais 40 ans. Quand j'ai pris conscience que le cinéma facilitait la prise de conscience...
Ousmane Sembene is regarded as the father of African cinema. However, his career did not start in film. Originally born in Zinakor in southwest Senegal, he would be raised in the native Serer religion. French influence, however, would be a part of his life. He would go to French school and later be drafted into World War II, under a detachment of the French Corps. It wouldn't be until after the war that his involvement in activism would rise, participating in railroad strikes back home, and eventually fleeing and stowing himself away to sneak into France, where he would join the French trade union movement, leading strikes to hinder weapon shipments to Vietnam during the First Indochina War. In 1956, he would publish his first book, The Black Docker, primarily focusing on the mistreatment of Africans. It would also highlight the oppression of Spanish and Arab workers, showing that xenophobia and race were clear issues. He would draw from his life experiences for most of his work. In 1962, Sembene studied film in Moscow at the Gorky Film Studio, primarily showing interest in Italian neorealism and Lenin's films. During his time there, he gained an appreciation for film and its possibilities. He would continue writing, however, he faced an issue. Realizing he could only reach so many people through literature, as literacy was such a luxury back home. At 43 years old, he wrote and directed his first feature film, 1966's Black Girl. Focusing on anti-imperialism and the effects of such, Diawana, the main character, is given a chance of fortune and opportunity, working for a wealthy French family. It isn't until she works for them in France that her mind and spirit break due to the family's unforgiving nature, causing her to reclaim control of her life by any means. She takes back the mask that she gifts and eventually commits suicide. This is her freedom. The French father attempts to return the mask and money, symbolizing the imperialists and reparations to those imperialized. The mask falls into the hands of the young boy, the future of Senegal, who literally casts away the Monsieur out of their home. Sembene's Black Girl rings with anti-assimilation sentiment and promotes African resistance in the end. Speaking clearly to the anti-imperialist mentality, however, in the end, both parties are affected and changed forever.
Est-ce que vos films sont bien compris en Europe?
Non mais mettons-nous bien ça dans la tête. Moi, l'Europe n'est pas mon centre. L'Europe est une périphérie de l'Afrique. Si vous prenez la carte de l'Afrique, géographiquement, vous pouvez mettre l'Europe et l'Amérique et il nous restera encore de la place. Pourquoi voulez-vous que ce tropisme, vous savez le tropisme, pourquoi voulez-vous que je sois comme le tournesol qui tourne autour du soleil? Je suis moi-même le soleil.
Another work by Sembene would reflect similar themes, but rather focus on the struggles within the Senegalese government and commenting on all African governments. 1975's Hala shows us the inner workings of African government and Sembene's comments on the corruption. In the first scene, we are shown a coup being held, overthrowing the white business owners and restoring it to a self-governed country. Moments later, the same businessmen return to bribe the new officials. Pulling the strings from the shadows, Sembene backdrops this movie in a cultural way, showing our main character overcome with impotence after his third marriage. This is caused by his neglect towards his fellow citizens and lack of sympathy to those around him. Sembene impacted French New Wave cinema head-on by his film's activism, highlighting important issues that are still relevant today. Focusing on class struggles, religion, youth culture, and an overall movement of rebellion, Sembene pioneered this cultural movement and gave a voice to Africans, who had otherwise been neglected and not seen as a prominent force in the world. Critic Ashley Clark writes that Sembene used film to fulfill his goals as a griot in the Western African tradition, a man of learning and common sense, who is the historian, living memory, raconteur, and conscience of his people.
Mais pour prendre le raccourci de l'histoire avec la tradition de l'oralité, le cinéma devient pour nous un outil important. Et il est de tous les arts l'expression les plus faciles et les plus agréables pour un grand public. Malheureusement, le cinéma coûte cher, demande beaucoup d'investissement, tant humain que financier.